Axios is reporting that Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, of course, a Democrat from California, is announcing that the House of Representatives is this week going to, quote, introduce and vote on a war powers resolution to limit President Donald Trump's military actions regarding Iran. Now, of course, if the president does not seek approval, if the president ignores what they are supposed to do, then it's unclear how much this will actually limit the president's ability to do whatever he wants. But needless to say, Nancy Pelosi said in her letter, quote, last week, the Trump administration conducted a provocative and disproportionate military airstrike targeting high-level Iranian military officials. This action endangered our service members, diplomats, and others by risking a serious escalation of tensions with Iran. In the Senate, Senator Tim Kaine from Virginia, also a Democrat, introduced a similar war powers resolution. Now, you may have missed this, but Donald Trump did file a war powers resolution regarding Iran. It's super odd, and it only raised even more questions. Nancy Pelosi responded by saying this classified War Powers Act notification delivered to Congress raises more questions than it answers. This document prompts serious and urgent questions about the timing, manner, and justification of the administration's decision to engage in hostilities against Iran. The highly unusual decision to classify this document in its entirety compounds our many concerns and suggests that the Congress and the American people are being left in the dark about our national security. Can you imagine? He says under Obama, Trump does, you need congressional authorization to do this type of thing. Then he just does it, files a war powers resolution, but immediately classifies it so nobody has any idea what's actually in it, but then pretends like he's doing everything on the up and up. So as far as the war powers resolution that Nancy Pelosi is introducing in the House and Tim Kaine is introducing in the Senate, anybody voting no on this should be held to account and have to give an actual explanation for why they are voting no. Of course, every Democrat should vote yes on this. Republicans who say they believe in the rule of law, Republicans who say they believe in the Constitution, Republicans who say that checks and balances and separation of powers matter should all be voting yes as well, but I would not necessarily expect them to do that. If you needed any more evidence that Donald Trump has no idea how any of this stuff works and just how out of control he is, look at what Donald Trump tweeted yesterday. He tweeted that his tweets serve as notifications to Congress. Look at how insane this is. Trump tweeting, quote, these media posts, and he capitalizes the M in media and the P in posts, and maybe he believes that that makes it official in some way. These media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nevertheless. That's not how Twitter works. Tweeting stuff from the bathroom on your phone does not qualify as legal notice. It's not how Twitter works. It's not how the presidency works. And what we have, if we step back, is an impeached president threatening war crimes on Twitter, like I told you yesterday, and using Twitter as a notification tool, I guess, to Congress about military action. If we don't take the country back from this law-breaking insanity, what happens next? I'm all of a sudden becoming right-wing in my opinion of executive power and the power of the office of the presidency. I got a call a couple of weeks ago from a viewer saying, hey, David, are you a right-winger on anything? And I really couldn't think of anything. Maybe I am starting to be a small government conservative in the sense that the Trump administration is exposing that the presidency has too much unchecked power. We've seen unchecked power used before to some degree. We've seen Barack Obama with the drones. We've seen George W. Bush. Like, we've talked about this before. But generally speaking, the left is not particularly keen on stripping more and more power from the office of the presidency. Maybe my mind is being changed because I'm seeing what Donald Trump is doing. Trump's antics, Trump's belligerence, Trump's ignorance show exactly why a single person and one office, the office of the presidency, should not be allowed to hold this much power. But really what it comes down to is the lack of effectiveness and efficacy of the checks and balances. When we go back to the founding fathers and the ways that they structured checks and balances, they clearly never imagined that you would have a president like Donald Trump that would just flout those norms and laws and framework. And it seems as though our elected officials are either unable or unwilling, our justice system is unable or unwilling, probably a combination of both, to actually employ those checks and balances in a way that limits what Donald Trump is able to do. At the same time, in a sense, Trump doesn't have that much power because they could remove him tomorrow if the entire Republican Party hadn't decided to let him do whatever he wants. 20 Republicans is all it would take in the Senate during the impeachment trial to remove Donald Trump. 14 members of the cabinet, 13 plus Mike Pence, or is it 14 plus Mike Pence, could remove Donald Trump under the 25th Amendment, but they don't, and that makes him effectively omnipotent, endlessly powerful. It is a dystopian nightmare. We'll talk a little bit more later about the 14 Republicans or the 20 Republicans. In the meantime, what do you think is ultimately going to happen in Iran? We are talking about this on a variety of our platforms. Let me know via tweet at Pakman. What do you believe ultimately will happen in Iran? We'll take a quick break and be back after this. One of our sponsors is privacy.com. They're giving you $5 when you sign up for their completely free service at privacy.com/Pakman. I've been using Privacy for a little over a year now. You've heard me talk about it before. It's a lifesaver, and here's how it works. Takes just a couple of minutes to set up. Anytime you buy something online or on the phone, instead of actually using your real credit card number, the Privacy app and the browser plugin let you give each company a randomized virtual credit card number that you create out of thin air. It'll even autofill the card number with one click. And the payment is taken out of your checking account without the merchant ever knowing your real information. So this allows you to keep your banking information secure, but also to take control of your finances. You can create up to 12 of these virtual credit cards a month. You can set spending limits. You can freeze them. You can delete them anytime you want. So when you do this, it means you're not going to be charged when you don't want to be, because you can destroy the virtual card number right after using it, which, for instance, I love using free trials because I know I won't be charged when the trial is over if I use a virtual credit card number. You're keeping your identity private by not telling companies who you are. You're keeping your bank or credit card info protected against data breaches and identity theft, and it's free. There's no catch whatsoever. But if you want, Privacy also offers a $10 a month plan that gives you 1% cash back and lets you create 36 credit cards a month, and a $25 a month plan tailored more for small businesses where you can create 60 card numbers a month and much more. But definitely go ahead and at least get started with the free plan. You'll protect your financial info. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. And like I said, you'll get $5 to spend when you sign up at privacy.com/Pakman.